Back in 1864, young Robert McGee, just 14 years old, set out on a journey to the untamed West with his kin, chasing the promise of a better life on the American frontier. Their sights were set on Leavenworth, Kansas, traveling with a wagon train through the rugged wilderness. But fate dealt a cruel hand. Robert's parents didn't survive the hardships of the trail, leaving the boy orphaned in a harsh and unforgiving land. When he finally reached Fort Leavenworth, young Robert tried to join up with the army, hoping to carve out a new path. Yet, being just a lad, the army turned him away, saying he wasn't old enough to serve. Robert McGee still needed to make his way in the world, so he found work with a freight outfit hauling supplies to Fort Union down in New Mexico. Come the summer of 1864, young McGee took up the role of a teamster, driving wagons for the company. They traveled with the added safeguard of a U.S. Army escort, though the dangers of the trail were ever present. Despite clashes with native tribes along the way, the wagon train managed to cover about 16 miles each day, a slow but steady pace across the plains. On a blistering hot day, July 18th, the group, weary from the sun's relentless heat, set up camp near Walnut Creek, not far from Fort Zara in what is now Great Bend, Kansas. Feeling secure, the teamsters and their escort let their guard down. They camped a full mile away from the Army's protection, lulled into a false sense of safety by the quiet prairie. That peaceful evening at the wagon train's camp near Little Cow Creek took a terrible turn. Out of nowhere, around 150 Sioux warriors, said to be led by the fierce Chief Little Turtle, stormed in with a sudden attack. The teamsters, caught unawares while settling down for their evening meal, had no chance to defend themselves. The air erupted with the sharp hiss of arrows and the crack of gunfire as the Sioux swept through the camp with fierce precision. Chaos reigned, and the unsuspecting wagon train was soon left in ruins, the scene turning from calm to sheer devastation in a matter of moments. The Sioux warriors showed no mercy as they struck down the teamsters, leaving their bodies brutally mutilated and their wagons looted and destroyed. By the time the attack was over, somewhere between 8 and 14 members of the group had met a grim and violent end. The massacre at Little Cow Creek went down as one of the darkest and most chilling chapters in the history of the frontier trail. Amid the chaos, young Robert McGee faced the full fury of Chief Little Turtle. Struck by multiple arrows, a pistol shot to the back, and a vicious tomahawk blow, Robert collapsed face down in the dirt. Remarkably, he clung to consciousness. In a horrifying act, Little Turtle stepped forward and, with a calculated move, cut away a massive portion of Robert's scalp. 64 square inches, starting just behind his ears. The Sioux had a reputation for taking larger portions of scalps than many other tribes, making Robert's ordeal even more harrowing. Amid the carnage left behind, with scalped bodies scattered across the site, Robert McGee and another young boy were the only survivors when soldiers arrived later. Clinging to life, Robert was quickly taken to Fort Larned, where the post-surgeon worked tirelessly to tend to his grievous wounds. Against all odds, Robert's youthful resilience pulled him through, and he began the long road to recovery. Tragically, the other boy who had initially survived the massacre succumbed to his injuries in the hospital. Though haunted by the trauma of that terrible day, Robert McGee gradually regained his strength and eventually made a full recovery, a living testament to endurance in the face of unimaginable hardship. Even after losing his scalp in the savage attack, Robert McGee managed to carry on with his life, as seen in the well-known photograph taken nearly 25 years later in 1890. It's hard to grasp how a man could survive such an ordeal, but Robert's story is a testament to his unyielding determination. Rather than letting his disfigurement hold him back, Robert used it to his advantage. He captured public attention through the press and built a career making public appearances. Notable surgeons of the time attempted experimental procedures to restore his hair, but despite their efforts, success remained out of reach. Over the years, a legend grew, claiming McGee's survival was one of a kind. While his endurance was indeed extraordinary, he was not the only person to live through such a horrific event.